Okay, so I'm going to walk through another example of researching and getting contact information for tourist boards. And what I'm going to do now is for this one, I'm going to focus a little smaller. Okay, so we talked in the course about approaching regional tourism boards or even states if you're in the United States. And really, I said this is a terrific place to sort of get your feet wet. And I'm going to show you why and exactly just how easy it is too. That's the beauty of this. So I live up here in the Northeast, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and research one of the states. Let's look at New Hampshire. Okay, so I'm going to go over to New Hampshire's official government tourism website. And again, there's a ton of information located on these pages, but, I hope what I'm providing to you is some value. And part of that is saving you some time going through this process as well, too. So what I'm going to do is, of course, you can go through and, I always teach and I like people to, get a general feel for the website and, all of that. And you can certainly go through and look for some ideas for getting some specific things in mind when you're doing up your pitch. But for the purpose of this demo, let's go down to the bottom page here, all right? Now, I said to always avoid the contact page. And in this particular case, what I do always like to do, though, is click on it. Because a lot of times you can find, it's not always just a general mailbox, right? So here we have the dreaded, mailbox to avoid with the travel@dread.nh.gov. And I didn't actually plan that to have the word dread in there, but that's kind of funny that it's in there. So, what we're going to do is we're going to look through this page, and if we come down here, sometimes you hit the jackpot and you get an actual real person in here. So this is really cool that they have the actual name of the communications manager down here. And again, you'll find this a lot with a lot of the smaller or the regional travel boards. And this Chris Nielsen here, communications manager, good name to reach out to. It's an actual person. So that's kind of cool that they have that on here. And again, it's probably because it's a smaller tourism board. New Hampshire's a pretty small state, and they're pretty personable too. So it doesn't hurt to go there. Now, the next thing that I always show you guys is to go over here to the media section. Like I said, it's buried. And what's really cool about this one is, look at this, guys. They actually tell you that they offer press trips. So more low-hanging fruit for you. And, they even say right here that they're pleased to host travel writers who generate editorial coverage on our state while here on familiarization tours. So FAMs, familiarization tours. You just gained another nice little useful terminology that they happen to use. And we talked in the course as well, too, that a lot of times when you're doing this research, you can see, their sponsorship guidelines that they have. And this is really cool because they're spelling it all out for you. So you don't have to, go through and, have that back and forth with the regional manager, the communications director that you're talking to. And look, they spell it all out. They require a 6-week time period to make arrangements. You need to make your own arrangements for travel to and from New Hampshire, and also while you're in New Hampshire. They don't pay for alcohol and gratuity, but they do comp meals. So this is so valuable, and taking the time to do this, you just found so much information. And when you make your pitch to this regional tourism board, if you come at them with the knowledge that you can even say right in there, I know that it requires 6 weeks. I'm planning my trip for 8 weeks out, and I'm just reaching out to get this process started. I'm making my own arrangements to New Hampshire while I'm there. Yeah. And then, so, as you see this, you can already see that people that don't do this work ahead of time and just pitch the tourism board without knowing this, what do you think this particular tourism board is going to think when they receive a request from someone that says, I'm going to be there in 3 weeks. I'm wondering if you can, fly me to your your state. Of course, they're going to go, don't you read our page? We don't want to work with you if you're not going to take the time to go through. We spelled it all out for you. We're offering you this wonderful arrangement, and you haven't even taken the time to research it. So it's pretty neat. They have a general guidelines page that you can go to here to get even more information. And what's interesting, and again, I'm just walking you through this process as I would look at it. The same Chris Nielsen here that we had the email information for in the previous contact section is also located here. So, we don't even have to do any more, thinking about who we're going to contact. This Chris Nielsen, this is the person that we need to contact. We need to get our pitch in front of. And again, after seeing that they took the time to spell out this, I'm also going to go and read all of their guidelines here. And, having all this information here is going to lead to a really successful pitch. So I wanted to show you that demo. I think there's a lot of value in here in walking through sort of the process that I would go through. It's tremendously valuable for you to do this research. And again, this is low-hanging fruit. I don't want to say it's easy to get a partnership with them and work for what they call their familiarization tours. You can definitely get comped meals, probably have some arrangements made. And one thing to point out as well too before I end this demo, another thing that's going through my head is that this particular person here who probably put together all of these guidelines takes the time to spell out a lot of details. So I would I'm thinking that they probably require some details in return about what you're going to give them in terms of your product. But at the same time, I'm not stressing out about it, because even if I don't have, a huge, following, and, my stats are like those big influencers, I don't think that matters to them. I think they're more looking for quality content. And that these are just some things that are going through my head. So I hope that was helpful for you. I think it would be. And again, you could do this for any regional tourism board. If you live within the states, all the states have their own tourist boards that you can go to, and they have similar information like this. If you're ex-US, you live internationally, there's a lot of regional boards like this as well too. And they oftentimes you won't find specific details like this, but I think doing the research ahead of time and working with a small board like this, and even if you just get a couple free meals out of it, making that contact with this person, and when you conclude the trip, making sure that this is probably a pretty easy one for you to get some testimonials working with them too. They'll probably provide that information to you. So again, hope this was helpful for you, and we'll continue on.